Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to look at a Forex example, in particular the GBPUSD, British Pound US Dollar, on this hourly chart. And today I'd like to take another look at how we gauge the larger degree trend. I'll start off by using the higher time frame chart in our standalone MTPredictor 7.5, then I'll take a sneaky quick preview at how we do this in our new NinjaTrade 8 add-on. So if you're using NinjaTrader 8 or NinjaTrader and wish to upgrade to our NinjaTrader 8 add-ons, stay around for the end of the video because you'll have a sneak preview of how much easier that is to do in our NinjaTrader 8 add-ons. In particular, I'd like to look at our TS1 sell here on the British pound a little while ago. You see the pound has dropped nicely. Now remember, you guys who've been using MTPredictor for a while will know that we no longer use the STF, the strong trend filter, because this is an indicator. Most indicators are lagging and therefore it changes colour too late. And as you can see, when you had this TS1 sell, it would have been blue, indicating an uptrend, therefore you'd have missed it. So how do the more experienced or more MTPredictor users who've been using the software for a while gauge the large degree trend? Well, we go to the higher time frame chart. We look for a time frame between 3 and 5 time frames higher, the next logical time frame up. So for an hourly chart on Forex, you'd go out to a 4-hourly chart. If you're trading, say, daily stocks, you'd go out to weekly. Now, what do we do on this? We look at the last swing pivots. You can see here the swing pivots are labelled for us, and when the market was going up into this high here, because the TS1 sell was about there. That's where the TS1 sell was. So we wanted to see whether there was any resistance before that to gauge what the large degree trend was. Well, the most obvious place is this last swing pivot high here. So we right mouse click, do a DP, and you can see that gave us a resistance area. As the pound's been fairly choppy recently, it's been in a fairly narrow range, we can also look for any other swing highs and swing lows that would give relevant DPs. There's an obvious one here, which was the start of the decline down into that low. And there's also one here. Why was this one to use? Well, because this was the last swing down into that low. In fact, we had sort of double bottoms here. So I'd look at the last swing into a high or low, which is this swing here. So I'd also use this pivot here. So this is a little bit more complicated because we've been in a choppy range here. Sometimes it's quite easy where you just have a nice clear swing pivot. For example, there's a nice clear swing pivot here. We just right mouse click and project a support level out, and you can see the pound hasn't quite reached that level there yet. But I wanted to use this example to show you what to do when it's a bit choppy. So effectively we have quite a wide range of DPs all in the same area. In fact, they're overlapping. So let's take some of these off so we don't confuse things too much. But can you see how the pound went up into this level here and then made a high and then came down? So the point being is when we got our TS1 sell on the hourly chart, which was here where my cursor is, would be coming down after hitting resistance. So in other words, the market trend would have turned down. For you guys a little bit more experienced, you could have right mouse click on this pivot high, do Elliott wave intermediate, and also seen that we had a 5-wave sequence up. At the very least, after a 5-wave sequence up, after a completed 5-wave sequence, the market tends to go back to the DP from the prior wave 4. So this level here, which you can see is where it did. It went down to this level before going sideways. If this is breached, which it was here, it will then tend to retrace the entire prior wave, 5-wave sequence. You go back to the start of the sequence, back to this DPOs earlier here, and put that level on, and as you can see, that would be the next level of support. DPs are great because they're leading indicators. They're on the chart in advance. These gives you areas of support and resistance before the market even gets there. So you can see here the pound hasn't quite reached this major support level down here. So what does that look like on the hourly chart? Well, let's go back up to the hourly chart. I'll just take these target ones off to start with. And can you see now how here was our 240-minute resistance? We can see it's labelled on the chart for you. The market then went down, came up, and can you see how now this TS1 sell was after this resistance level, and therefore the large degree trend was down. Therefore this would be a good one to take. This would be a good one to take, but this buy signal here would not, because obviously the trend is now down. Right mouse click, do analysis, there's your trade into the first target. But would you really want to come in at or come out of that first target there? Bearing in mind, when I was looking at this 4-hourly chart, I said the next major support was the DP off the wave 4, which was down here. So I put this level on the chart, saying that was the next major support level. Remember, that would have been on the chart before the market even got there. So when you come back to the hourly chart, can you see now how it was an obvious thing to do, rather than come out at this first target, to say, actually, I'd like to come out at this next support level down here. That suddenly increases your profit from 2-hour profit. Remember, we use correct position size and to vary the number of lots, contracts or shares. In this case, lots, because we're trading Forex. In this case, risking 2% on a sample $20,000 account. So rather than risking making a profit of 2.2 times the initial risk, we grab this and come down here. The profit would have been increased to almost 8.9R. In other words, turning initial risk of about $380 into a profit of approximately $3,400. For you guys a bit more experienced, will also notice that the move up into this high here was also a 5-wave sequence, with the high right at the minimum wave 5 WPT. So just as we said before, once the market crosses the DP from the prior wave 4, which it obviously did here, it then goes back to the DP from the start of the sequence, which was here, which is the same DP I have on the market already, on the chart already. So again, that will be another logical place to have a support zone. But can you see how I'm building a picture up? But I'm building a picture up when it's nice and clear. This is what I talk about when I talk about the cyclical nature of trading. In other words, we're looking for trades that make sense and all come together in a nice clear picture. If the picture's not clear, it makes no sense at all to trade. The market half the time will be in an unclear picture, therefore you shouldn't be even trying to analyze it or try and figure out what it's doing. But when it's in the good picture, in other words it's clear, then you should be looking for trade setups. So can you see how this TS1 sell was now coming off this higher time frame resistance here? The short trade then into the large degree support, I would have given you a very nice 8.9R profit. If you're a little bit more aggressive and wanted to have a slightly longer time frame trade, remember I also said that if I do the DP off this low, that would be the next level where the market is likely to go to. So if I now come back to the hourly chart, you could well be holding it on to come down to this next support zone down here, where the profit would be up to 14.5R. To protect yourself, maybe you're using the ATR stop, which is locking in about 10R here profit at that ATR stop level. But can you see how MTPredictor gives you the tools to not only analyze the larger degree trend, but also give you the trade setups where you can come in with a small controlled risk to then give you potential targets, but more importantly, those targets have profits that are related to the initial risk. And normally we like targets that are large, so when you go through your trading, your profits are large and your losses are kept small. Remember that always will be losing trades in any kind of trading. Now that seems quite hard work, so what we've done in our NinjaTrader 8 add-ons, if I just bring this up here, you can see here's my same analysis, but this time we have a new trend indicator which we've called MTP trend. This works off the major DPs off the current chart. In other words, it works off these last major swings. So these swings I have on the chart in black. So there's the last major pivot high. We work off the last 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go back to the 5th one back here, this is exactly the same DP as I used on the MTPredictor 7.5 chart, and as you can see there it goes up there and catches that high exactly the same as I did in 7.5. So that's why that was showing this as a black trend. In other words, we're in an area of where the market was likely to make a reversal. As the market then comes down off that DP, it then turns red. Can you see how it's now turned red here? So now it's now telling you at this particular point in time here the larger degree trend is now down. Now highlight that against what we had in our 7.5 version of our old STF, which was still blue. Can you see how now this changes trend so much quicker and therefore gives you an indication that this is now a downtrend and therefore was a good trade to take. So in other words, you're taking the TS1 sell when the new MTP trend indicator is red. Just as we had before, there's your major support zone. It tells you it's a major support there, and there's your profit would have been coming out at 8.9 or 9R, just as we had before. So the NinjaTrader 8 add-ons make things a little bit easier with our new MTP trend indicator, because these work off the DPs. So rather than having to do so much manual analysis yourself, they give you a color-coded or an easy color-coded indication of the large degree trend. But either way, a very nice trade there on the British pound, where the British pound was coming off major resistance, came down, made the initial decline up into a TS1 sell, down into major support, where we had a potential profit of almost 9R. So that sums up MTPredictor very well, where we're looking for trades where we can come in with a small controlled initial risk, and then the profit is approximately, or you have a profit that's larger than the initial risk. The reason this profit is different is because in the NinjaTrader add-ons, I currently have the risk set at 1% on the $20,000 account. Obviously this can be changed easily, so if I go to our tools, tools, MTPredictor, accounts and risk. Let's go to accounts, risk. For currencies, let's change that to 2%. 2%. Let's apply that. Let's do OK. And go back to the chart, and therefore you can see that the profit is now the same as we had in 7.5. So a good example of showing MTPredictor on a Forex chart. In this particular example, a 60-minute or 1-hour TS1 sell on the GBP US dollar Forex.